Hello, and in this episode of 10 Minute PD, I want to talk about Google Slides. I know when I was teaching remote last year, and even when I was in the classroom, I would use Google Slides to create an activity or something that students would go through. Or maybe I know fourth grade just finished up their extreme natural disasters and weather, and they use slides to help their students either organize information or present their information. So let's go over some of the basics of Google Slides that maybe you didn't know existed. So I think everyone knows about the different themes. So you have the different common themes that you can use. But I'm just going to X out of there for now. When you are starting, just like Google Docs, if you create up here, you create your title, a presentation, and then when you hit enter on that, you'll see your star where you can prioritize it in your Google Drive. You can move it right in your document to where you would like it to be in your Google Drive if you want it in a specific folder. And then you can see, make sure it is updated. And right now, this one's not made for off use usage, but you can turn it on so if you are offline, you still have access to this document. So if you're going somewhere where you know you're not going to have internet, but you know you need to work on it, you can turn on the offline use. In the Google Docs video, I talked about the different ways that we can share information and make comments. And Google Slides is very similar to that. So if I come over here and I put a title in of slideshow, there's a few ways that I can give feedback on this. On this one, it doesn't pop up right away that I would like to leave a comment, but I can right click it and leave a comment that way. Leave a comment for students, give suggestions, whatever you want to do. And if you noticed, when I did that, that now has its highlight, but when I right click on it, I'll do it on the comment box this time, we also had the Mote box pop up so you can leave auditory notes and feedback for your students and not just always typed verbal feedback for them. So you can give the auditory feedback or you can just give the written feedback for students. When it comes to sharing, I talked about how they can share with students in different ways if they want to edit things together or if you just want them to give suggestions. So when you share in here, I'm just going to put my student account name. I can also do the same thing. I can make them an editor or I can make them just a commenter. So if students don't want to give all the power to someone, if they're looking at their paper and revising, make the person make it a commenter instead of an editor. A commenter cannot delete or change or anything like that. They can only give suggestions. So I tend to have and suggest that teachers, when students share things, share it as a commenter and not an editor. And if you just want them to be able to view it, just hit view. Oh, one other thing that I like to show is when you have to get a link for something. So if your students were all doing a presentation and you want them to share it out, you could create a Google Doc with all of their names, and then you could get the link for it. So when you do this, there's a few options. Students only have the option to share with a QRSD. They do not have the option to share with anyone with the link. They do not have that privilege. Teachers do. And then restricted is only people with the link will be able to open it. So if you want to have it personalized just to that class, have it restricted, or it can just be anyone with the QRSD. You can copy the link and then paste it where you need to go. If you share something in Google Classroom, when it says shared up here, it'll say your name, the name of the Google Classroom, and then the student's name. So those are the people who have access to it. Google Slides is a little different than Google Docs with what you can insert. So I know there's a lot of issues sometimes with YouTube and students being able to view videos on YouTube. If you go to insert video, you can insert a video right from YouTube onto this slide so students will be able to view it on their own. In the past, I have done some where I put the video on there with some questions on the side so each student gets a copy of the slideshow so I can see what they are doing there. The formatting is very similar. You can add text boxes. One thing that I've noticed is people, when they want to duplicate a slide, If you want the same exact slide multiple times, you just have to hit duplicate. You can do it up on here, or you can right click on slide and you have the duplicate slide right there. Skip slide just means when you're in presentation mode, it won't be seen. It is still a slide that exists, but when you put it into presentation mode, it will not be seen. The last thing that I want to show is that if you are sharing out this presentation as a resource to students, or if it's like the week at a glance, I like to publish them. And the difference between publishing and just sharing it out is that when you publish it, it automatically starts in presentation mode. So give me 1 second and I will pull up one to show you. So here I have a week at a glance that was created last year when I was remote with my students. So when they had it, they would see basically a view only of this. They wouldn't have the options of editing at the top, but they would see all of this down the side. Now, if I publish it, so I'm going to go to File, Publish to the Web. So when you click on Publish, they're going to have a few options on here. Do you want it to automatically start the slideshow and have it move through the slides? Or I have it so it does not have it start. So start is unclicked. If you want it to start and then automatically have it go through the slides at a timed rate, you can do that. And then I can restrict it just to QRSD, but I do not because I figure when I was doing remote, I had some students sometimes on computers that other siblings were logged into or parents, so I did not restrict it. And then I am going to hit publish. Do I want to publish the section? Yes. And when that comes up, it's going to give me a website, and you can see right on the screen it says hit Control C to copy. And then when I go to put it in, it is already in present mode. So all of my hyperlinks are active. So when I click on Tuesday, I have my good morning, I have my writing, my reading, and my math right there so students can see exactly what's going on. They don't have to hit present or anything. It's active and they just go right in and use the hyperlinks. So keep in mind when you're using Google Slides and sharing things as a material or a week at a glance, using it as a published website instead of slides would be very helpful for the students. If you have any questions about this, please reach out and have a great day.